Yo, what's up gamers? So I only came into the break room because I was clearing out the old game shelf nobody's touched since 2019, and sitting there like a perfectly preserved relic was Anthem. Still sealed, still untouched, like it was waiting for someone to believe in it again. And then Sharon from marketing walked by, glanced at the box and casually asked, "Doesn't this game need servers just to exist?" And yeah, that's when it hits me. You didn't have to destroy my hopes and dream like that, Sharon. But before this game gets archived next to the VCR and the busted fax machine, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop a comment telling me, did you ever actually play Anthem? Or did it just live in your backlog like a very expensive promise? Now let's talk about Anthem, a game you can't really buy anymore, won't be playable much longer, and is officially counting down the days until it disappears completely. Alright, here's the scoop. Anthem is officially getting the pink slip, and with only a few days left, it's hitting hard. EA confirmed back in July 2025 that the servers are going offline on January 12, 2026. Because this was built as an always online experience with no offline mode whatsoever, the shutdown takes the entire game with it. There's no offline fallback, no solo escape hatch, no, at least the story still works. Once those servers go dark, Anthem doesn't just stop getting updates, it stops existing entirely, even for owners of physical discs or digital copies. One switch flips, the lights go out, and that Iron Man fantasy turns into a very expensive coaster. To put it in perspective, Anthem launched on February 22, 2019 with massive hype as BioWare's ambitious live service shooter. It reportedly sold around 5 million copies in the first few months, but as we're now just over a week from the end, unfortunately I'm not able to find any data on the live player count of the few still logging in for that one final flight. When Anthem launched in 2019, it wasn't pitched as just a game, it was sold as a brand new universe, complete with a promised 10-year roadmap of content updates and expansions. You play as a freelancer on the untamed planet called Bastion, often referred to as Coda in the lore, piloting customizable exosuits called Javelins. There were 4 classes to choose from: Ranger, Colossus, Storm, and Interceptor, and you were fighting against a chaotic god-level force known as the Anthem of Creation, a reality warping energy responsible for the most of the world's tech and disasters. On paper, it was a janitor's dream. High-tech jetpack suits, co-op missions for up to 4 players, flashy abilities, and the promise of evolving world events and endless loot. And for about the first 10 minutes, it actually worked. The flying felt incredible, true Iron Man freedom with hovering, dashing, and heat management. Combat was fast and flashy, built around elemental combos, and the world itself looked fantastic, packed with lush biomes, vertical spaces, and massive storms rolling across the map. It had the shine of a freshly waxed floor, but once you stepped forward, you realized the structure underneath was rotting. Reviews landed squarely in mixed territory, averaging a 59 critic score with a 4.1 user score on Metacritic across all platforms. The problem was everything except the flying. Once you looked past the visuals, the cracks were everywhere. Missions were repetitive, the loot system felt meaningless with poor drop rates, uninspiring gear stats, a grind that didn't reward creativity, and the load screens lasted longer than my lunch breaks. Sometimes over a minute just to enter a mission or change gear. Behind the scenes, development was a documented dumpster fire. A 2019 investigative report from Kotaku reveals years of turmoil, unclear leadership vision leading to multiple reboots, key staff departures, and massive challenges with EA's Frostbite engine. As reported, the Frostbite engine excels at visuals and shooters like Battlefield, but it wasn't suited for RPG elements, inventory systems, or live service features. BioWare essentially had to hack in basics like UI and saving. Burning through time and resources, the game had only about 18 months of focused production after 5 years of planning, and shipped unfinished because deadlines loomed. BioWare tried to mop up the mess with Anthem Next, also called Anthem 2.0, a total reboot announced in 2020 aiming for a Final Fantasy XIV style resurrection with revamped loot, missions, progression, and endgame. Concept art and dev blogs in 2020 built real hype. Then in February 2021, EA axed it after an internal review, citing resource shifts to other projects like Dragon Age and Mass Effect. No redemption arc, just maintenance mode and radio silence. It's like being told to clean a building that's already scheduled for demolition. For the last few years, Anthem has existed in a weird kind of half-life. No major updates since the Cataclysm event back in 2019, no big fixes, no future plans, just a live service game frozen in time, with a small but loyal group of players still popping up on Reddit to say, yeah, but the flying still feels amazing. The final cleanup started in July 2025. That's when Anthem was quietly delisted from digital storefronts, meaning you can no longer buy it on PlayStation, Xbox, or PC. Premium currency sales were shut off immediately, though if you already had some, EA said you could spend it until the end. Then on August 15, 2025, Anthem was removed from EA Play, cutting off access for subscribers months before the actual shutdown. If you already own the game digitally, you can still download it and play it until January 12th. After that, even if it's installed, you're just staring at a dead login screen. Here's a quick janitor's tip for you. If you see a physical copy in a $5 clearance bin, and yes, they're floating around online for as low as $3 on eBay, just keep walking. You're not buying a game, you're buying a disc that boots up, asks for a server connection, and then gives up. It's like buying a key to a building that's already been demolished, or you can just buy a copy just so you can have it as a coaster, or maybe save it like a collector's item just like Concord. But as of January 4th, 2026, the community is deep in last-minute nostalgia. Social media is full of farewell flights, wasted potential posts, and people begging for a miracle offline patch. That miracle isn't coming. EA has confirmed there's no offline mode planned, and while the shutdown didn't result in layoffs, it does officially mark the end of Anthem as anything more than a memory. Anthem is becoming another entry on the growing list of games that vanish because of always online design, joining titles like The Crew, delisted and shut down in 2024, Knockout City in 2023, or older ones like MAG and Battlefield 2142. It doesn't matter how much money went into it, or how innovative the flight mechanics were. When ownership is tied to a server, your forever game has an expiration date, highlighting bigger industry issues around digital preservation and consumer rights. Anthem won't be remembered as a masterpiece, but as a cautionary tale, one of the highest profile live service flops that showed the risks of always online mandates. A reminder that in the world of live services, entire worlds can disappear with no archives or emulators stepping in, at least legally. It won't be patched, it won't be archived, it's just going to be tossed into a bin. So yeah, that's Anthem, a game with some of the best flight mechanics ever put in a looter shooter, a gorgeous world that felt alive, and potential that still haunts fans to this day, but ultimately a live service experiment that crashed and burned. If you already own it, remember you got until January 2026 to boot it up and take one final flight through Bastion. If you don't own it, you're not missing a hidden gem anymore, you're missing a fading memory that's about to vanish forever. I'm putting this copy back on the shelf, right next to the other live service lessons learned, Destiny's early stumbles that got fixed, the Division's comebacks, and all the ones that didn't make it. Well, that's the full cleanup on Anthem. I gotta bounce. Now that I'm looking at this floor, it's pretty messy, and unlike the servers, this mess doesn't have a shutdown date. But before I go, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Did you ever buy Anthem, and do you regret it, or miss what it could have been? This is Scruffy the Janitor signing off. Peace out.